I remember going fishing, and that's pretty much it. That's like all I remember from that Inks Lake whole experience.
Hello and welcome to Reflections. Our first two I didn't actually have in mind making into like full episodes. In the first episode you see that I explained to Heather that I imagine it being little social media clippies. But since we have a lot to say about the videos we watch, I think it would be a good idea to make them into full episodes. So here is episode 3. So we're just going to have one coincide with each perspective. There's a perspectives and a reflections, and yeah,
And that's how it goes.
that's how it's gonna go. Okay, so let's get started. Our first morning that we camped together.
The inside of our tent.
So I know this is weird and embarrassing now. What?
The morning you were like, let's sit down and talk about it. And I was not super into the idea, as you can see in my face right there. And then we like never did that again.
We never did it
But I
again.
guess we're sitting and talking about it now.
We're doing it now, which is funny. Because yeah, the more eyes on you, the worse off the anxiety is. So.
Yeah.
But I have a message.
I know this is weird and embarrassing now, but later on, when we're watching this, it might be neat.
Yeah, it is our first camping trip. That is like quite a memory.
Neat. It's neat now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I would say now I'm very glad that you did embarrass us. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've seen this since we started 4 years ago. So that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about this literally for 4 years. That moment where we first sat down, like I was afraid to watch it for a long time, and I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
mostly because I think if we sort of remained in the same state of mind that we were in back then, which we did maintain it, but I think as we move on these episodes, we're going to see ourselves slowly change, because I've been seeing myself. Not only do I look different, it's just like a different way of going about doing things.
They look so like worried and sad and confused,
us?
dazed. Yeah,
Oh,
like past us. Yeah.
it's quite a memory. This is our first sunrise here coming up.
It's just like a Sunday, and I have like work tomorrow. Usually I have the Sunday scaries right about now where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. But you're just like relaxing. Well, and this morning was nice watching the sunrise, and that like overlook spot was really beautiful.
What you doing?
Looking. That's also crazy. Yeah, because I remember like when we first started, for the first like lots of camping trips, we always like woke up at sunrise. And we've like talked about that since, just like me and you, about how like sometimes that came from like a place kind of like feeling of like desperation, really trying to figure out what this could be, I think.
Desperate to feel alive, you know?
I mean, I don't love waking up early, but I don't think I've ever regretted watching a sunrise.
Well, look at your face.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Looking. How's it up there?
It's pretty. You see little mini Texas mountains in the background. And I know there's more to see.
I said.
So I know you've like told me that like the tree is very significant for you.
It is interesting to see you be sitting in a tree. I don't know. But I also remember shooting this part. I noticed later on in our adventures, the trees that you sit in and interact with, I pay special attention to. But with this one, I was shooting the road, like where you come into the park. But if you look at the second shot of the tree, I literally look at the tree once from behind the car with this shot. And then later I'm like looking at the road and I just look at the tree again. But I don't know if it was like a conscious thing that I was doing. Because I'm like, back then I wasn't interested in the tree. Yeah, but the whole time it's always been about us. Like our experiences, and I just really didn't know how to articulate any of that at this point, though. I didn't know how to tell a story, especially now. I'm like, feel like I'm better at editing stories together.
When you shot this and like we were doing this, we didn't really know what we were gonna make out of it. There wasn't like a plan.
Yeah.
But I said we needed to just go, but all we had was a tent and sleeping bags.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. You've got to have some preparation.
Need any help?
So that was me saying, like, when you first had the idea, I was like, give me 2 weeks so that I can get some materials together. So I can feel better about camping. Yeah.
The metaphor we use is what it was just said. Like I said, we needed to just go, and you said I couldn't bring myself to do that. We needed to prepare. So then it's the train and the tracks being laid out in front of us. You know, that's how I describe us.
It's not that I won't go. I just need to lay out some tracks first. Yeah.
You mean start the fire? It was discouraging when we were cooking for about 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean...
No, I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I was just saying.
I know. I understand.
Yeah, I think the cooking part is like the most stressful, I think.
What's that?
The eggs.
Oh.
That's so... Cooking still, like, stresses me out sometimes. But to hear, like, old me say that, and then, like, we were camping, like, a couple of weekends ago, and I was like, oh, you can film me making this, and I was, like, explaining what I was making for, like, camping meals. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I also like how I just told you to throw on the stuff while the fire was still blazing on the charcoal.
Oh, that's like not a not good thing?
That's why we had so many problems. It got hot way too fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem we face right now, is that we put it on.
Yeah.
The charcoal needs to just simmer, and it's just coals.
Yeah. And we were, like, hungry. But then you have to, like, wait for charcoal to really,
we
like,
just dumped it on there.
do its work, yeah.
And so it got too hot too fast.
Yeah, eggs aren't supposed to boil.
I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to figure it out. Whoops.
Here, mix it around now. When we came into this, we've never went camping before by ourselves. This is our first camping trip.
Oh, should we have sprayed it with something?
This looks like egg slop.
Like what?
Like egg slop. That was a big chunk.
Casualty.
Yeah. Like, I was so devastated by that because I was so hungry at that point. Like, when we were watching this back, I thought I was about to say, do you think I can still save that piece?
Oh.
But
It's gone.
That's gone, yeah.
Poor thing.
I'm just extra sensitive because I haven't had coffee yet.
Oh my gosh, because that's when... Well, so we're waiting for the water to boil on the charcoal, which I don't remember how long that took, but I think it was a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is so great. Yeah, because this is like before the jet boil, before the propane stove, obviously before the van. Like, just, it's very easy to like make coffee now. And this is our first time doing this, and so I'm just like...
We talked about our lives. There was like desperation behind getting here. But then once we were here, it's like we were desperate to figure things out for ourselves. Like we weren't scared to learn. It was just like, oh, this sucks because I don't know how to do this.
Right. Yeah, it was just like difficult. It was just difficult.
But we were willing to figure it out, obviously. Like,
Yeah, it still felt
yeah.
less difficult than being at home having the Sunday scaries, you know.
right, because you get a sunrise
Yeah.
and then you try to make coffee and stuff. But I mean, you're not gonna starve to death if you go camping.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
is inconvenient.
Yeah.
You're choosing to feel an inconvenience.
Well, and I just like don't like not being good at things or like
Oh, yeah.
getting things right away too. So that part of it was like very uncomfortable for me, and probably like why on camera like my attitude is kind of like off too, because I'm like this is stressful and I'm not good at this. So how do I talk about it? You know, because I didn't have any like confidence in my abilities at this point.
So why would you want a
For
camera
sure.
in your face?
Right. Yeah. My eyes are like burning.
It's still gonna be good.
I tried.
I was honestly nervous that I was going to be too high maintenance for tent camping.
I probably ruined this and I had to buy a new one.
What do you mean by high maintenance?
When I was little, I loved playing in the dirt, rolling around with my dogs, and like, I just like never really, I've always loved being barefoot everywhere. I don't care about bugs and like, you know, being outside and stuff, but I think just, I don't know.
Was it your idea of yourself? Because you just said
Not really, no.
You just said I thought I was too high maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, but then
Yeah.
you said you've always been kind of a outdoorsy.
Yeah, I
type.
just never really like had been asked. I guess like you asked me to go. You know, I don't know that anybody like ever asked me to go camping or go do something outdoorsy, and I was just like, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like we could still go hiking or fishing and stuff this morning before we have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could sit here and talk about it. What else do we talk about?
So that's you wanting to go do outdoorsy things.
That's very true. Like I was frustrated because I was like, we're just sitting here talking and we don't know anything. Like, what are we going to say about Inks Lake? This is literally our first time camping. I just burnt breakfast and it took us 2 hours to make coffee.
We didn't know nothing.
So I was like, we're sitting down in these chairs and what are we going to say? Today we're here at Inks Lake and you can do blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just like, no, we're idiots. And we're sitting here talking, but we could like, we still have some time to be here. And I want to go fishing or I want to go on a hike,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, it's interesting that you were like, can we go do something?
Yeah.
We were drinking our coffees though, I think.
Yes. Yes. But I didn't know how long you were going to like have us doing this for.
Until we just became so uncomfortable we get up and leave.
Yeah.
That was the idea, I guess.
This will help keep people 6 feet away from us.
COVID joke.
Oh yeah.
6
apparently.
feet.
I guess the fishing poles.
Mm-hmm. Careful.
I know I'm so short. I'm gonna get my line stuck in a tree at some point.
Like the way I'm like walking down the rocks is like so timid, and that's just like, I don't know, it's just so interesting to see me so unsure of myself. Which makes sense because it's our first time camping. I feel like I've come a long way, and I'm less like saying stuff like, oh, I'm short, I messed up breakfast, I'm
Fishing
gonna
pole.
get my fishing pole stuck in a tree. Like I'm just like putting myself down so much. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't do that now.
Yeah.
But this is also when you were a teacher. The Sunday Scaries existed.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, I was probably, even though I was saying earlier, like, it was helping me with the Sunday Scaries, like, I'm sure that was just, like, setting in at this point. We're 45 minutes, an hour away, camping here, fishing, which is, like, fine, but also in the back of my head, yeah, I have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like I'm so anxious, and you know, I have been an anxious person for like most of my life. But I'm not that anxious now.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see that.
Hook me up.
This is our way of camping. Everybody has their own way of camping. This could be our way of camping.
Here we go. I
Oh
hate
my
this
God.
so
That
much.
face.
Why? Why me?
Well, okay, so one, I'm probably thinking this is our way of camping. Like, it's literally our first time.
It could
Like,
be.
we have an established way of camping. But also,
Could be.
yeah, I look so worried. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah, we haven't paused it.
that girl. Yeah, I
You
haven't
haven't
paused
seen
it
this.
here. Like,
Uh,
yeah, like the weight of the world is on her shoulders. Holy cow.
this is my life now. Is that what you're thinking?
I don't think it had that much to do with like this moment. Like, I think it was just like a collection of everything that was going on in our lives at that point.
Wow.
But oh my gosh, yeah, I need to.
You're losing me.
We'll watch it back later. That's the point.
Oh, we're watching it back now.
Oh my god,
That's the point. Look at me.
that's the point.
Us watching it back is the point. Yeah. Man.
Oh my.
It's like embarrassing a little.
It is embarrassing, but would you rather be embarrassed and miss out on memories?
I guess. No, I mean, I guess not.
What do you think?
Oh man. Yeah, would you rather feel embarrassed or make memories? That is like deeper than just like me getting like more comfortable on camera too, because obviously I was like very not into that idea at that point. But then also like I was just so anxious and like would get embarrassed all the time of like everything, like every mistake I made, every, you know, everything you do wrong. Like it just like we would literally joke about like the audience, because I had my own internal audience just like always watching me, and you'd be like, because I'd be like, no, like that's embarrassing, I can't do that or whatever,
And nobody
it
would
wouldn't
be-
even be on camera, like
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything like that, just like living our normal everyday lives, and I'd be like, that's embarrassing, and you'd be like, is the audience watching? Like, I don't know, because I was just like I wasn't living life, like I was just so anxious and worried about what everyone would think of every single thing that I did or any mistake I made. And it's crazy how far I've come from that, because I look at that and I don't feel like, I mean, I feel a little like sad that I ever did feel that way, but then also, you know, you have to like, I wouldn't be who I am without that girl, woman, whatever. But it's also very powerful knowing like how far I've come from that. So I can watch this like 4 years later and be like, holy cow, like I chose not to be embarrassed, you know? Because like what would our life be like if I had chosen to be embarrassed? Yeah, so I can like look back
Yeah.
on this with like compassion and like understanding, but not regret.
I had when I first was editing this, I was like, would you rather be embarrassed and miss out on memories? And I had thought like, oh, are we missing out on memories if we're not recording stuff on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But then also I like thought, how would we remember all the things we did in these 4 years? Because a lot of other life happens.
Yeah.
So, and it's harder to remember things today. Like, this is how I enjoy moments, is by recording them. Like, it's literally my passion. I wouldn't be doing this. Wouldn't be editing so many videos if I didn't like doing it.
Yeah.
So I find happiness in creating things, especially if it has something to do with something special, like close to me.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of all this. So, memories. I try to tell them in like their purest form, because you obviously were impacted by it, and that makes me feel great.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, because I mean, like, could I have gone the rest of my life without, like, seeing this again? Sure. But I do think that watching that back has an impact in itself. You know, just like that, those moments had an impact in themselves.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, like, I don't remember the sunrise there. I don't remember sitting in that tree like you were talking about, because we just recently went back to Inks Lake.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about that tree and, like, how you remember, like, that moment where you, like, saw me sitting in the tree and you're like, oh, something's, like, happening. And then I was like, oh, I don't remember that at all. Like, I don't remember burning breakfast, but you can tell in my face that like felt so big then. But in a way, it like releases me even in the present of like taking things so seriously. Because like looking back on that now, how little were those problems? Because what really stuck with us was fishing the sunrise, because we keep going back and doing that, you know, and doing those things. And like, I usually do remember the good things over the bad. So maybe when the embarrassing things happen, it'll be easier to let it go in that moment, you know?
This is us experiencing it for the first time in this way. We've already experienced it
Right.
when we experienced it. This is a new form of it that stands on its own forever too. I had the plan, it just takes like about 4 years to enact.
Yeah.
So that's Reflections, episode 3. We've just been knocking them out. So after seeing the first two, when I was recording the first two, I didn't know how they would turn out. But now that I've seen them and it's evolving and turning into something, I'm much more excited. Anyways, that's it. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Go there, do that.